I'm Alex Pino of tinyhousetalk.com, and I'm here with Sarah of smallhousebigadventure.com. She just finished building her very own tiny house on a trailer. So, Sarah, tell us how this whole tiny house thing got started for you.
Well, really, my mom sent me a YouTube video on tiny houses, I think maybe a year ago, and I just fell in love with them from the get-go, and eventually was able to include it as a case study in my master's thesis.
So you used it as a project for your master's degree, right?
Mm-hmm, exactly.
So how has the reaction been at school with the project, specifically with your teachers and your classmates?
Well, it's been pretty overwhelming, and mostly lately. I've completely finished my master's, and I was done with my thesis back in July, but it wasn't until just the past couple of weeks that my professors and even faculty and staff at the school have really taken notice of it. Part of that has to do with them hosting me up at their campus for some news and media little get-togethers. But everyone seems to be really excited about it. Most of the student population is military, it being American Military University, so it's not really something that you see a lot of the students do.
And I'm curious, did you notice by any chance, like, if people had already heard about them before, or were you someone who brought this to their attention first?
I have to say I brought it to their attention first, and being in the tiny house realm for a while now, I often forget how many people are still unfamiliar with the whole concept. So it surprised me, but I'd say probably 3 out of the hundreds of people I've shown the house to already knew about tiny houses.
Wow, that's not very much. I'm always curious about that because I'm like diving into this stuff every day. But yeah, in my normal everyday life outside of my work in the tiny house world, hardly anyone really knows about it. So it's kind of fun.
Exactly. It still surprises me every time it happens, and someone thinks it's the coolest thing I've ever seen. I'm like, really? There are hundreds of these being built right now.
So you've gotten to tow it around, right? Because I think you went to at least 3 or 4 different places to kind of show it off.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we towed it with my dad's F-150, which isn't technically rated to tow this.
With an F-150, you said?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, we got up to, I think, a maximum of 60 miles an hour on the highway, and that was good enough, but it's very interesting to tow. Now, I haven't actually sat in the driver's seat because I really didn't want to be the one towing the house in case something happened to it. But it actually went a lot smoother than I expected.
That's cool. Yeah, I'd always wondered how it would be like to tow with a smaller truck.
Mm-hmm.
I know for long distances it wouldn't be a good idea, but you can definitely pull it off for some short rides, I guess.
Yeah, I think one-way trip up there was 4 hours. So.
Oh wow.
Yeah, it could at least handle that. I don't know how my dad's truck is doing, but so far.
So what has it been like showing it off to people?
Oh, it's been great. I think that's actually my favorite part of this is the outreach and the education I've been able to provide to everyone else, because I've learned a whole lot building it, but people who don't know anything about the movement are learning so much in such a small amount of time because they actually get to walk in one. And it's just really neat to see the naysayers go inside the house and their face lights up and they admit how much bigger it feels than what they were expecting when they looked at it on the outside. I think that's the coolest part. I've only had a few people say that they could never even sleep in it like for a weekend. Most people, when they get in it, say they could use it as like a camper or some kind of occasional house.
Right. Oh, that's really interesting. So, and then you're actually going to. I know this already, but maybe people listening don't know. So, you built this for your as a project for your master's degree. So you're not going to live in it, right?
That's right. I sadly have to part with it because part of the deal was getting a loan from Bank of Dad was I would repay the loan when the project was complete. So I will be selling it. I've had a few people interested. Ironically, most people from the DC area who probably live in larger homes are getting really interested in it. So we'll see how that plays out. I would love to live in it myself. I'm in a 250 square foot apartment right now, so it's not that much bigger than the tiny house. But I would still rather downsize more into the house if I could keep it.
I'm curious, if you did want to live in it, and where you live right now, how feasible is it? Have you seen, do you think you'd have a challenge parking it somewhere and living there peacefully?
Well, in my specific situation, no. My parents own a really big non-working farm. They have a lot of acreage, and it could be parked somewhere. I know a lot of people will park it on land out of sight and just hope they don't get caught. But if it got really cold, or if I really couldn't live in it full time, I could put my address as my parents' house or what have you. But if I didn't have my parents to rely on, it would be tough around here because of the zoning laws.
Definitely. Cool. And so, can you tell us how much it costs you to build?
Honestly, I still have some details to put into it, and I haven't calculated the cost for the last 3 months, but we're in the 20,000s right now.
Okay.
So I can at least ballpark it, but I'm not sure how much we'll end up putting into it, because every time I think we're done, it's another $100 here or $200 there, and some things just keep sneaking up on me. So we'll see. Hopefully not very much more.
Cool. Thank you. And so, did you use some plans to kind of guide you at the beginning? What plans did you end up going with?
Yeah, I got plans from tinyhomebuilders.com because I liked the roof line better than most of those on the tumbleweed houses.
Mm-hmm.
I loved elements about both, so I sort of took one and combined parts of the others, and I've seen some really cool features that other people have on their blogs, and so I tried to incorporate as many cool ideas as I could. And really, I think what most people don't realize with plans is that unless you get a trailer that's the exact specifications, plans start to become just guidelines, and you end up calculating all the numbers and angles yourself. So we ended up more with guidelines than plans, but they were super helpful.
That's cool. Yeah, it's true, because a lot of the trailers are completely different, right?
Exactly. And even if you tell them I want an 8x20 trailer, it doesn't really mean 8x20. It could mean 7'10" by 19'5" or whatever their specifications happen to be. Right.
That's interesting to know. Yeah. And had you construction experience? What kind of experience did you have with building things before you took on this project?
I could hang up pictures, and I think I could saw through some wood with a handsaw, but really I hadn't had a lot of legitimate experience. My main house was that my dad was a general contractor, so growing up, I would be wandering around on construction sites, and it was all commercial, so it was a huge construction site. So I wasn't scared of anything, because I saw people using these things every day, and these things could be safe, and that I could do it. And also didn't help having him there to make sure I didn't screw up, but I gained a lot of experience on this. I can do more than hang pictures now.
And how does that feel? I bet that must feel so cool to look at that and that you accomplished that you did that from hardly having any experience to doing something like that.
Yeah, it's an amazing feeling. I mean, I'm sure I'm going to build another tiny house in my lifetime, probably for the next couple of years, because I still want one for myself. So it's really empowering knowing that whether it's a tiny house on a trailer or maybe a stationary house, I can do most of the things that are needed, like framing walls and install windows, and even do some plumbing and electrical. It's really just the muscle and then a couple of specialized items that I would need help with at this point.
So just to wrap things up, where can people follow what you're doing, and maybe if anyone is listening and they're interested in buying your house or they just want to check it out, where can they find all that?
My blog is smallhousebig.adventure.com, and I continually update it with all the little projects I have going on. And people can contact me through comments on there. My email address is waywardwillow@gmail.com, which I can also be reached at.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Sarah. I really appreciate you chatting with us here and taking the time. I know you're real busy.
Yep, always. But yeah, it's been my pleasure.
Thanks, Sarah.